Hey everyone, sorry for the noise. And the cat, there were a couple of personal questions in the comments over the last couple of months I thought I'd answer. And they might have even been from the same person, I'm not sure. But anyways, I'll take a couple minutes to answer them. So somebody asked how the move was to Ankara. So I moved from Istanbul to Ankara. I think it took like 5-6 hours. Shush. I think it took 5-6 hours, and I had too much stuff. I still have too much stuff. So like, if I were gonna move back to the U.S., I'd have to package a bunch of stuff up and ship it, like DHL or UPS or whatever, which would be kind of a hassle, but yeah, whatever. So because of that, what a care, Sus, you're being loud. So because of that, I had to rent. I had to pay a guy 600 tele to move a bunch of my stuff. So that was a hassle, but it got here like a day and a half later, and so that was good, you know. And then after I got here into the apartment I was in, I actually moved into a larger apartment afterwards, so I had to move 2 times, so that sucked. But whatever, I'm in the bigger place now. And Janet was super annoying in both cases. So driving over, she wouldn't shut up because she was, scared and nervous and whatever. And then didn't like the small apartment, and neither did I. It's too small, too many living creatures in too small of a space anyway. So bigger place is better. But anyways, yeah. So that was the move. Somebody asked why I am going to a different place, and I think I just wrote that change is good sometimes, which is true. The best thing I can say is, especially after dealing with COVID and quarantine and sitting around alone for a year and a half or whatever, that was something I didn't want to deal with again in the same place, in the same space, and so for that reason, I really wanted to change anyways. And then there was some stuff that went on during COVID that I disagreed with also, which is going to be the case no matter where you work. So it's not, dependent on that one place that I happen to work at. That would be the same case regardless of where you work, who you work for, whatever. I'll say this: if it seems like something is, if you're unhappy, if something's not going your way, or if you're not satisfied with something, or if it seems like, I don't know, this isn't even specific to the place that I worked at, but this would just go for anything professional or personal. If it seems like someone is deceiving you, or if it seems like something is just not the way it should be, then take yourself out of that situation. That's it. And so, in that situation, I found myself unhappy, unsatisfied over the past 2 years, quite a bit. And certainly some of that was COVID, and some of that, could have been just the way that it was, sure. But that was why change was a good thing, And I've done that a million times before, and I'm sure that I'll do that a million times in the future as well. And, who knows what the next change is that ends up happening. But yeah, if you find yourself unhappy or unsatisfied, or like the situation that you're in is not for your benefit in some way, or if someone is deceiving you in some way, get out. Just get out. Maybe you end up regretting it later, maybe not. But, being miserable for weeks and weeks and weeks, it doesn't get you anywhere. So, yeah, I don't know. That's the best I can say for that. And like I say, that doesn't even necessarily just apply to the place that I worked at. That's just a professional and personal and, whatever, family life, the whole thing. It's a good thing to put up with, to tolerate things not going your way for a while, of course, and it's a good thing to be patient. But patience can turn into stupidity if someone is trying to do something that they're not telling you about, or if something immoral is going on, or if there's something happening that, I don't know, that you disagree with. It's no longer a matter of being patient. It's a matter of being stupid if you let it just continue and continue and continue and don't do anything to change it. So yeah, I don't know. I'll say this though, the people I worked with were amazing. The kids I worked with were amazing. And it was really still a great place and overall a good experience. But it was one that at that point I needed to change. So like I say, that'll happen again in the future, I'm sure, in some way, shape or form. So degrees, diplomas, that one's a really tough question. So somebody mentioned something about how to figure out what degree to go for, diploma to go for, or I forget the exact question, but it was along those lines. And I'll say this, when I was in, so was Janet, God damn it. I think I was in middle school. I wanted to be a gunsmith actually, because my dad's cousin did that and ended up working for a big defense contractor who still works there. And the guidance counselor in middle school convinced me to instead look at engineering, mechanical engineering. So that stuck with me. And I ended up going to university for mechanical engineering. And then when I got out, I had several jobs then too. I started working when I was 15. So I worked in an auto parts store. I worked at Chase Pickens, which if you're from the Northeast US, you might know it. It used to be part of Wegmans, but it was kind of like Home Depot or Lowe's or Koshach. I worked there in high school. I delivered beer for a while. What else? I don't know. I had a bunch of different jobs all through. And then my first job out of university was in customer service at first, and then a few months later I was promoted and went into marketing. I was in sales and marketing for years. And so I never actually did engineering, and so maybe it would be amazing, but I'm not sure, to be honest with you, because I didn't do it professionally. And sales and marketing, I got really kind of burnt out on that anyways, so I'm kind of glad that I'm not doing that anymore, although the money was really good. So in hindsight, it probably would have been good if I had tried to stay there a little bit more than I did. But at the same time, I might be even more miserable than I am right now, so I don't really know. But because I ended up leaving there, I ended up in teaching. And with teaching, there's really a certain amount of satisfaction that goes along with that. So when you're considering degrees or diplomas, think about the satisfaction that you're going to get out of the situation. Money too, money is satisfying, of course, and benefits and all that, but it's certainly not everything. And you can probably get by on much less than you realize. And so, when I was in marketing, I had a nice car and I had a decent apartment anyways, and I made a lot of damn money. But at the same time, the job was not satisfying at all. I was constantly putting out fires. So it would be like one, emergency, and then the minute that was resolved, there would be another emergency. And usually they were sales things or discontinuations or product recalls or whatever. But it was never ending, and that was tedious. Whereas with teaching, at least you get, a holiday at the end of the year, but more so, even better than that, you get to see the kids progress throughout the year and see what they end up, becoming, and that's really where the satisfaction of the job comes from. So you've got to think about that when you're considering your degree and diploma, not just what field do you want to be in, but what job do you ultimately want to get, but also consider that there's probably going to be other jobs that aren't necessarily directly in line with that degree that you might be comfortable with and happy with. So I'm not even talking about teaching, because that was not in line with an engineering degree, but some people love sales and marketing, and my engineering degree got me into sales and marketing. I didn't have a marketing degree, I still don't. I didn't have a marketing communications or an MBA or a business degree or anything like that, but I was able to do that with my engineering degree, sort of getting me in there. So, keep that in mind too, that there are a lot of sort of tertiary or periphery job opportunities that may come up, that may exist, that you might not be thinking about with that degree that you're looking at. But no, if I would love to go back to university, that would be fantastic. That would be my dream. If I had the money to right now to not work and go back to university, I'd do it in a second. I would probably go for chemistry or physics, maybe political science, though it seems like poli-sci is kind of dead end. Like there's a million people. It's kind of like business. It seems like there's a lot of people who do it, and afterwards they don't end up getting into politics. They end up doing something like communications or whatever. So I'm not sure about that one, but it's an interest anyways. Engineering is still an interest too, but I don't know that I would want to do it professionally. Yeah, though I'm not sure because again, I haven't actually strictly done engineering professionally. So it's a really tough question. And maybe even computer science for that matter. Although for me, one of the things that I found too was I used to love working on cars. And when I was in high school, I got a job in an auto parts store thinking that would be amazing. I ended up replacing batteries and windshield wipers for old ladies in the middle of winter and mopping floors and restocking oil and stuff like that. It was not what I expected it to be, and it sucked, and it took away some of that joy that I got out of working on cars. So I used to love working on cars, take them apart, put them together, fix them, break them, whatever, and drive them around, of course. And it didn't matter if they were trash, if they were junk cars, or if they were nice. It was just, something that brought me joy. But after doing that, working in that auto parts store, I didn't want to do didn't want to do anything that had to do with cars anymore. So, keep that in mind. You can ruin a good thing that way if you immerse yourself in it in some cases as well. And that's kind of why I'm a little bit reluctant to say that I would want to go back for a computer science degree, whether it's hardware, software, whatever, because I'd be afraid of ruining something that I get so much joy out of. But at the same time, yeah, I think I would like to at least try it out and get a professional background on it. At least now, if I had the opportunity, as sort of a secondary thing. Knowing that I can always fall back on engineering if I need to, teaching or marketing, sales and marketing, whatever. But to build the foundation on the stuff that I enjoy as a hobby might be good, because there would be less pressure. And I think that's kind of maybe the concern, that if you really love something as a hobby, you might not love it as a profession, but now you have the pressure of that profession having to sustain your life and your lifestyle, and that might not, those two might not go together well. So anyways, yeah, that's over 10 minutes, so that's my personal video rant thing. I'm going to get back to computer ones after this, but I figured I'd make this real quick. So yeah, anyways, enjoy.